Well, welcome to Schenectady today, in and around the Capital Region. I'm so happy you're joining us today. We've got a great show. We've got a great lineup, great events coming up. I want to just tell you who's coming up. We're going to be talking about 4,000 Miles, and that's being performed over at the Albany Civic Theater. And then we will be going right over to the Frog Alley Brewing. This is a brand new place. Well, it's exciting. It's down in downtown Schenectady on, well, they call it Frog Alley, so this is called Frog Alley Brewing. And then we're going over to Albany to talk about the Chinese New Year celebration over at it's at SUNY, sponsored by the Confucius Institute. Great event. I've gone for the past few years. It's a great event to go to and enjoy. David Balog is here, and he'll be talking about 1,000 Moms, and he's written a number of books. And we'll be talking about the books and the initiative behind those. And then we're going to be talking about the Octavo Singers and their new fundraiser coming up, helping their garden grow. So that's what we got on tap for today. And one of my guests who was scheduled to be here got ill, so she was not able to be here. So everybody gets a little bit more time. Yay! So anyway, we're starting right out with 4,000 Miles. And this is a play over at the Albany Civic Theater. They're located at 235 2nd Avenue over in Albany. And we want to find out more about it. And to do that, we have the director right next to me, Barbara, you're with me, and then we have our two guests, Brian and Annette. Catherine, I'm sorry. Okay. I get Annette. I don't know, that just came out.
My sister-in-law is Annette.
That must be it. I must know her in a past life. Who knows? So Barbara, tell me about 4,000 Miles.
Well, it's a play about a young gentleman, young adult, who has taken a bike ride across country west to east.
Are you the biker?
Yes, that's me.
You're the biker. Brian is the biker.
And he's traveled 4,000 miles. He's had a bit of a crisis during the trip, so he's struggling with that. He seems to also be struggling with other things in his life. And when he finally gets to the East Coast, he's in Manhattan, where his grandmother lives in Greenwich Village.
Now, does the grandma know, you're Vera in the play, right? I was trying to eliminate Vera from my mind, and I came up with the wrong name.
It's funny, we have a similar line in the play that actually happens like that, but go
Okay, right. So tell me, are you aware that your grandson is popping in on you?
No, he surprises me, although the family's been frantic with worry about where he is.
Oh, okay.
So the family in Minnesota keeps in touch with me in New York, and so it is a bit of a surprise, but I think in a way she maybe suspect that he might turn up.
Because nobody knows really, because he hasn't been using his cell phone, right?
He doesn't even have one.
He doesn't
I don't even have one.
And he just hasn't communicated.
So, Brian, tell me, or I guess you're Joseph. Is that? I mean, what? I'm trying to get my names right because I guess
okay.
You're Leo Joseph, right?
Yes.
Okay. I got these names in here, your pseudonyms and all that. But anyway, and ones I make up, you know. So, tell me, Brian. I'll go with Brian here.
Sure.
What prompted you to take a 4,000-mile trip?
Leo considers himself a bit of an outdoorsman, and he's kind of doing this to prove something to himself and possibly his family. We kind of come into his story already in progress after the bike trip has already started happening, and he's kind of taking a break after having a bit of a loss on the trip that he was on, and you know, he's kind of seeking solace from his grandmother. He's not even necessarily sure why he kind of turned up there. It just was kind of drawn there.
Okay.
Other than the obviously go from west to east. And
Yes.
similar motion to the next.
So now, just to clarify, are we talking a bicycle or a bike?
Bicycle.
Bicycle.
Yes.
Okay, good, because there's two. I mean, sometimes you call a bike, you know. So, so when you walk in with your bike, it's a bike.
Yes.
You're not coming in with your motorcycle.
Loaded with supplies
Yeah,
for a bike trip.
exactly. So how is the interchange between the two characters? I mean, are they warm? Are they like guarded? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I would say more warm than guarded, but she's kind of an acerbic grandma.
Okay.
To say the least. She's pretty feisty, and she's not your, sitcom grandma. She's an old progressive and peace activist.
Oh, okay.
And she says her mind. She doesn't care what anyone thinks, and she tells it like it is, and she doesn't mince words with her grandson.
Okay.
Which he needs, I'm pretty sure. He
So
needs that.
how big is the cast, Barbara?
There are 4.
Four.
But plus a voice. So there's
Plus a
4,
voice.
four and a
Okay.
half.
Four and, well, got a
4 and a third.
voice is necessary, I guess. So you have 4 in the cast, so that's not too bad for directing.
that's
I mean, you
great.
can get people together here
Yes.
to do that. How easy has it been to work with your, please don't listen.
I would say this whether they were here or not. Now, this has actually been one of the greatest, the most fun times I've had directing in a long time.
Nice.
Probably you kind of touched on it because it's 4 people. It's easy to get everyone together, and you become a little bit more of a family. I think the last thing I directed was a musical, so then it's just trying to herd
Herding
cats,
cats.
as they say. They've been terrific. They've had a lot of fun. They've worked really well together. We've, explored the script and what does it mean, where are we going with this, and it's been great. And I have worked with these 2 once or twice before, so that was nice to have them back together.
Yeah,
too,
especially when you've worked with them before.
yeah, and the other 2 were fantastic as well. So
When is the play?
it opens this Friday
Okay.
in Albany Civic, 7:30 Friday and Saturday, and then the 3 p.m. matinee on Sunday. And that's for 3 weeks.
Okay, 3 weekends. And now, the one thing I will ask, because we live in the Great Northeast, and there are storms. How does that work? Do you go on the show? The show goes on.
I guess it would depend upon just how much of a storm we have. I've not yet been in a performance or production that has been canceled due to snow.
I know at Proctor's they never canceled.
And I know SLOC went on with the snowstorm a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I suspect we would do the same
You'd do
thing
the same.
unless it were, just something where they said
Everybody was off the
everybody
road.
stay
Yeah,
inside.
Exactly. So did you pick the play, and why did you pick it?
I did pick the play, and I submitted it to Albany Civic as a possible play for me to direct. I submitted it. I originally had read it as a possible staged reading to do several years ago, and it didn't end up happening because Capitol Rep, as you had mentioned earlier, Capitol Rep was going to do it, and so we had some copyright or some rights issues, so we didn't do it. But I had loved the play. I have to say, I really.
Well, it's a character study.
It's a character study.
I love character
yeah,
study.
and it's not. It doesn't do what a lot of traditional plays do, and we've talked about this endlessly. That they're probably bored with it. That it doesn't have that sort of, Cinderella goes to the ball, but she drops her slipper, that kind, and then but the prince comes in and everything is happily ever after. It doesn't have that kind of a thing. It's kind of like the title. It's 4,000 miles. You're going along, and it's a journey, and it's a journey as they get to know each other and learn about themselves and each other.
There's a number of journeys going on.
Yes,
Yeah.
quite a few. So
Now, tell me, is age appropriate? How age appropriate is this?
there are some scenes that there are some naughty words said, I suppose you could say, but
Probably nothing they haven't heard on the school
on
bus.
the school
so,
bus, right?
What can I say?
It's true.
Times have changed.
Right. So, and there's a few scenes that are maybe more adult than others, but I don't think, I probably wouldn't bring a 4-year-old to it, but your middle school and high school kids would certainly.
Because sometimes, we have adults that like to expose their kids to theater.
Yeah.
They say if you haven't been to the theater by the age of 15 or 16, you're probably never going to
Never
go.
going to go, yeah.
So we want to encourage people to bring their kids. That's why there are so many youth productions.
Yes, and I think that's
which
wonderful.
Is great to
It
do.
is, it
What
is.
is the next? Do you know what the next production is coming up at ACT?
Oh, I should know. I
don't know if I
that
have
you'd
it here.
asked
I
me
don't
that
think I have
question,
it
and
here.
I have it on the tip of my tongue. I can see the poster, and I can't.
Well, and I don't even have the poster,
I know it's
so I
directed
can't
by Brian
even give you a
Avery, but I
clue.
don't know anything
That's all
about
right. That's okay. Forget I asked that one. So anyway, so you are all ready you're off book, ready to go.
Yes.
Yeah,
They've
and this is such an exciting time to get onto the stage. And what's the set like? I always ask about sets because I love sets.
It's Grandma's apartment, the living room area of Grandma's apartment. You can see the kitchen.
So there's not
off
a
to the
lot of
side.
changes.
It never really changes. I mean, things move around, but the furniture stays the same. And the way it's described in the as you read the intro is that she sort of decorates. She hasn't redecorated since probably the 50s or 60s.
Love it.
Because there's really no point. She really isn't one of these people. She has not really a sense of style per se. She really it's functional.
So she doesn't go to IKEA or anything.
No, no. If she needs something, she gets it. If she doesn't need it, the 50-year-old couch will suit just fine, thank you. And it's largely decorated
Good for
by
you.
It's largely decorated by books. We also do have a couple of nice pieces of artwork that are similar to what you might. I like to think that her late husband bought them and had them put on the walls. But
well, this sounds like a wonderful play. It sounds like it might be. I love character studies because they just kind of bring you in, and you always go, "Oh, I know somebody just like that," you know, whatever. So anyway, I want to thank you all for being here, and I have to say, break a leg, of course, because that's what we do. But I hope that you have a sellout crowd for every performance. It's just so nice to have you all here today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, 4,000 Miles.
Hey.
Be sure to check it out, 235 2nd Avenue over in Albany, the Albany Civic Theater Playhouse. Do you
Albany
call it?
Civic Theater.
I don't know how it's a playhouse, but it's
yes,
a
it is.
theater. Yeah, whatever. So anyway, check it out. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Frog Alley Brewing. Stay tuned. Okay, here, back again, and I have J.T. Pollard with me, and he is the owner of Frog Alley Brewing, and we're going to find out, first of all, how did you get your name?
Frog Alley Brewing was a name that was conceived
before your time.
Before my time. It was in the late 1800s, the area defined by Erie Boulevard, State Street, and what is now Washington Ave coming off 890 was called Frog Alley, that whole triangular area. So, and then in 1903, the baseball team, the Schenectady baseball team, was named the Schenectady Frog Alleys, and they were actually arrested for playing baseball on Sundays, if you can imagine that, because it was against the blue laws.
The blue laws. I lived in the Midwest, and when I moved there, this was in the 60s, they had the blue laws, so no grocery stores, no stores could be open. It was like, I came from the East, it's like, what is this? You know? So I do understand what you're saying. So tell me, what made you think about, I mean, were you making beer in your basement?
No, I never made any beer. I like to drink beer, but I never made any beer. So
tell me, how'd you get started?
Really, the project started with, I had a meeting with Ray Gillen. We had done some other small...
for Metroplex.
For Metroplex. We had done some other small development projects in the city. I've always been an architect in the city of Schenectady.
You're with Reform.
With Reform, and I've done a lot of work with the Gillespie Group, including Mohawk Harbor, but Ray had asked me to look at 4 buildings on Lower State Street, and
Look at those
say,
buildings now.
could
Oh
we
my God.
renovate them? We ended up tearing them down and made it a part of a $30 million project that we're working on right now.
What
so.
an amazing, and every time I look, it seems like there's another story, or there's this.
Yeah.
I'm just not- well, I see how I did that. Well, anyway, so there's a lot of redevelopment going on in the downtown area. What's going to go in that building? I know you're in the bottom area, but what's going on elsewhere?
Yeah, so we call it the Mill Lane level and the State Street level, the two levels.
Artisan, they call it
Yeah,
Artisan.
Mill Artisan District. So the brewery is on the Mill Lane level, and then we have our big tap room will be open around St. Patty's Day in the on the State Street level on the corner of South Church and State Street. And then we also have Bountiful Bread, which is really exciting. They have a place in Stuyvesant Plaza.
Bountiful Bread is coming.
Yeah, Bountiful Bread's coming, and they're doing a full bakery.
We really need a nice bakery downtown.
Yep, we have.
Because with more apartments, people are living downtown.
Exactly. That's what I think. That's been the whole thrust of these developments, is really to get more feet on the street down here. Of course, we've got great entertainment in Schenectady with Proctor's, and you know, we did Bowtie about 10 years ago. So we're bringing entertainment to the area, but now we have people that want to live here and experience all of the great things that are happening in Schenectady. So
well, I think we're seeing a move to the urban, where I mean everybody's suburban. You're in the suburban, you need to take it. The buses don't come by your house.
right.
Taxis are probably more expensive, or Uber, whatever you use. So living downtown is, you probably don't need a car if you're working down there.
Right. A lot of the millennials that are moving back to the cities, or moving to the cities, they don't want cars. They want to be able to walk to everything. They want, which I think is really exciting. That we
They don't
have
need
this
to go to a
going on.
gym. They can just
Right.
keep walking everywhere, right?
Exactly. So we're really excited about it. We have 74 apartments as part of our project, and we also have the Janelle Group, who's a local Schenectady software company, moving into our project. They're taking 11,000 square feet to start.
Oh, wonderful.
And they'll be growing into about 16,000
Now,
square
there's
foot.
2 buildings down there. Is that it?
We've raised 7 buildings. We've torn down 7 buildings so
Okay.
far. We have the existing building was a building that was done in the late 1800s.
And that was an apartment building at
That
one
was an
time.
apartment building. We did a full gut on that
Yeah.
on that building. We tore down 4 buildings on State Street and built the new wing that you see
Yeah,
along State
yeah.
Street. And then we're going to renovate and restore the existing blockhouse, and that'll be a distillery.
Yeah,
We'll be working on
I
that.
mean, that was a famous spot.
Yeah.
You know, from college, people would go there as well. I've been there too. That was another life. But anyway, so you decided to open up a brewery because you talked to Ray Gillen.
Well, we wanted.
We have a number of breweries here. You know that, right?
Yeah, I do. I actually
Isn't that
own-
great?
Yeah, it's fantastic. The more the better.
The more the better.
And that's nice because brewing beers.
draws.
It draws people. It also, back when Schenectady was in the 1800s, there was a brewery on every corner. So it's nice to bring that back, that it becomes local. And we were all very supportive of each other. I own the building that Great Flats is in. Great Flats is an outstanding brewery on
Right.
151 Lafayette there, right next to Tim's Place 151. So we're really excited about that. But we really thought that the brewery, this is a little bit larger scale. We thought it'd be an engine for the entire development.
Let's take a look at the pictures. I don't know whether you brought the pictures. I was looking at JT here, so I wasn't looking at the pictures. Okay, I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, we can do. We can produce a lot of beer out of this facility. We have 9 tanks, 9 large tanks that you can see in the background of that picture. That'll each hold 100 kegs of beer. So as you think of a half keg,
Yeah.
they call them 50 barrels or 60 hectoliter, but they'll hold 100 half kegs. So we have 9 of those. So every 2 weeks we can do 900 out of our big system, 900 half kegs.
Now, you brought a video as well, so we can take a look at
Sure.
a little bit of the video. Maybe you can tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about what we're seeing
our
over there.
architectural firm did this fly through the entire facility, and,
Oh,
and that's
nice.
been morphing over the past couple of years here as we get it more
Yeah,
dialed in.
we'll wait for the video to come up, because sometimes it takes a little bit. Technology, you know, we only got one person working everything back there, so it's kind of, except for Jan, who's doing. Okay, that's okay. Well, we'll just keep talking. When you bring it up, I'll be watching the screen here. So you got it started, and you're going to be doing a kind of a release for the 4 and 5. Is that?
Yeah, so
Oh, there it is. There it is.
yeah.
Okay, good.
So
Here we go.
this is the you're looking at the area along State Street, the new building right now, and this is the blockhouse on your right. And then this is, we're restoring Mill Lane. It used to go right through the existing building, but we kind of stopped, we connected the building.
This is amazing, I love this.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is mostly done by Luigi Schenectady in our office. He's a fantastic architect. And Luigi
Used
and
a
I
drone,
designed.
or is this a graphic?
This is all graphic. This
Graphic,
is all
yeah,
models.
graphic,
Yep.
that's what I thought was graphic, yeah.
So there's, you can see it's the big tap room is going to be flanked by multiple patios.
Oh, nice.
3,000 square foot patio on each side. This is kind of flying in. One of the interesting parts of our brewery is we really want to help guys that are brewing in their basement and want to get started. So we've created these retail locations inside of our tap room, and we made them out of shipping containers, so that that we can get guys that want to brew, or girls that want to brew beer, and going to the SCC program. It's kind of a next logical step.
Yeah, that's right. They've been very responsive at CCC.
Yeah, so we're giving them a retail location that'll be fully set up for them in our tap room, so it'll feel like a little craft brew festival every day.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then our tap room overlooks the whole brewing operation, and you'll be able to wander through the space and we're going to have a whole setup that you can, so you can understand the brewing process.
So you're going to have tours if people
Yes.
want to have tours?
Yep.
Okay, because I went to the Budweiser or Miller tour, and oh my God, you learn so
Yeah,
much.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
We are currently doing, we have a small tap room open right now. It's probably 800 square feet or 900 square feet, but we are giving tours and just getting people familiar with the beer. We have two outstanding brewers, Rich Michaels, who was the original brewer at Founders, which is a fantastic brewery out in Michigan, and Drew Smith, who's most recently been with Schmaltz Brewing over in Clifton Park. They were a team back in the early 90s at the Big House
So they
Brewery.
knew themselves.
So they knew,
They
knew each other,
yeah.
and they're a great team, and they've made great beer right out of the gate. So we're
Yeah.
really excited about that.
Yeah.
But Mohawk 4 and 5, they asked about earlier. Our Mohawk series is the same base beer every time, but we dry hop it. So in the fermentation process, it's called dry hopping. You add additional hops to the product to make it, give it different flavor profiles. Mohawk 4 will be done with the Mosaic hop, and then Mohawk 5 will be done with a Ecuador hop. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, this is exciting. Now, I mean, beer to me is beer, but I mean, I'm not an aficionado, in case you wondered. But anyway, are there more kinds of beer? Or do you have just one beer, or is there like a lager and or you know the ales and whatever?
So we've been brewing for about 3 months now. We have about 8 beers on tap down there. We have a lager, which we call the 1903 Vienna Lager. That was the year of the baseball team, 1903. So
Cool.
we have our Captain Ellis Porter, who was the captain of the baseball team. We have a West Coast IPA.
I love the history. You get the little history in there.
We have a West Coast IPA. We have the Refresh IPA, kind of a play on Reform, our architecture company, and the New England IPA, which is the Mohawk. We have a rye beer that's 70% rye, so not many brewers can do that. We have a unique system down there that we put in, so we can do some specialty products.
How cool that is. I bet you're pretty excited about
It's very fun. I'd love you to stop down and give you a tour.
I know, you're just looking like you're really happy about this. This is great. So it's so nice to have the city become more vibrant. And the idea that you have more than one little breweries. I mean, it's okay. I mean, you know, people say, I mean, we don't go into a town with one restaurant.
Right.
We need a number of restaurants because one begets more, and you get more people in to come try this one, try that one. And that's what you're doing.
Exactly.
And I just love, and Ray Gillen, of course, is such a visionary.
Yeah, Ray Gillen has been very supportive, and he also assisted us with the Empire State Development. We assembled almost $7.5 million worth of grants for the project. As I said before, it's a $30 million project.
Yeah.
But we put in some interesting things, like we got a full canning line that's in there and a full bottling line, and we're talking with the brewers from around the region to come on in and instead of using the mobile canning line, come in and we'll help you do your canning and bottling. And
isn't that great? So you're
it's a really
working
collaborative
with others.
effort.
Yeah, I love that.
So,
I love you.
Yeah, we're very excited
Thank
about
you
it.
so much for being here.
Yeah,
JT.
absolutely.
It's
Thank
such
you
a
for having me. I
pleasure to
appreciate
have
it very
you
much.
here. And I love what you're doing, and I'm going to try and get down there and take a
down
look
there,
at
have
it.
a beer. Yeah,
And have a beer.
absolutely.
You
Great.
know, what the heck?
Great. Thank you so
We'll
much.
go wild. Right. Don't forget to get your tape or your flash drive. We're going to take another break, and we're going to go over to Albany and check out New Year's in China. And what do they do then? Stay tuned. Well, we showed this video mainly because in China there are like 57 minorities,
57,
what they call minorities,
56.
and they're revered. So this is really, and everyone has their special dress and music. It's just exciting. So this video was made in China to celebrate the various minority groups. They call them minority or folk groups. I'm not sure. So I have Yoquin with me, and she's with the Confucius Institute at SUNY. You're a professor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
How do
you
you
for
like
inviting
being,
me.
Yeah.
Good.
Being part of the Confucius Institute.
Very, very exciting. Very. By the way, I like your jacket. Very
Yeah,
Chinese.
isn't it? It came from China.
Yes,
Very nice,
unfortunately, I didn't think of that, but I wear something red, so to match.
Well, you're so used to it all the time, but for me, this is a treat to
Just
wear
in case
this.
you don't know, the red is the color for the Chinese New Year.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
nobody wears. I found out that nobody wears yellow because that's the emperor's color. Is that right?
Well, in the ancient time, yeah, there are certain colors are reserved for the royal family, for the emperor. The golden color, the purple, and so on. So yeah, but now you can wear anything.
You can wear, but it's interesting because we saw some colorized photos that they'd done, and they put yellow on all the kids, and somebody says, "Oh no, they would never have done that in that time because it was in the
before.
1800s that
Oh,
it was
yeah,
the picture
before,
was from the
yes.
1800s."
Yes.
So anyway, so you are part of the Confucius Institute, and you're having an event coming up pretty soon, and that is your Chinese New Year celebration.
Right.
Tell me about what the Spring Festival is in the Chinese New Year, and
Right.
why is this so important in China?
Right. Well, Chinese New Year is the most important holiday in China. You know, it's like our Thanksgiving and Christmas, New Year
All put
combined.
together.
Yeah. So people go back to their hometown to visit their families and get together, have
I hear
big
trains
meals.
are packed.
Trains are packed. Everywhere will be packed. You know, it's just like a Thanksgiving kind
Yeah.
of. But much larger scale because of the population size. So you go home, you have big dinner, you know, before the New Year's Eve, on New Year's Eve with your family, with lots of dishes, and a lot of dishes are symbolic.
What are the symbolic dishes?
For example, you want to eat fish.
Okay.
Fish in Chinese is yu, and it has the same pronunciation as something extra. So you eat the fish, and you don't finish it, and you have some leftover. So the meaning is that every year you don't spend all you have, right? You have something extra to carry on to the next year.
That. Yeah.
So you want to have fish as one of the dishes on the New Year Eve dinner. That's one thing. The other thing is the rice cake. I don't know if you have heard.
Yeah.
So in Chinese, it's called a nian gao, meaning like a year, like every year. The gao means higher, so meaning every year you become higher, better,
So everything
richer.
is really kind of symbolic.
It's a
then.
symbolic, yeah.
And they have the bean cakes too.
The bean cakes.
Well, you put the bean in the
You can
middle.
put rice bean
the
paste in there. That's
bean
nian
paste,
gao.
yeah.
So the gao basically means every year you are becoming better than the previous year. So
Okay.
that's the best wish. I don't know if you've done the sticky rice ball, tang
Oh, yeah,
with
yeah.
the sesame paste or red bean paste inside. You love that. Those are like dessert.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, it's round and it's symbolized that the whole family get together and so on. So a lot of food they eat during the holiday is symbolic.
I went to a Chinese New Year dinner, and they served a soup at the end, a sweet soup.
Okay.
Yeah, and that
What-
was kind of towards the end of the meal. They served it, in which I was surprised, but it was very good.
Okay.
Whatever it was delicious. Probably had some tofu and a little bean paste. I don't know what was in it, but it was very good.
Good.
I don't think I've ever had anything in China that wasn't absolutely phenomenal.
Good.
And you
Glad
know
to
how
hear
to
like
cook
a-
vegetables.
Yes, they know. how
You
to
and the
cook.
Italians, we both know how to cook vegetables, right?
And they are always fresh and
They're
look
always
great,
fresh,
and, you know,
right.
green and so on. Yeah,
So
sure.
let's tell. We brought a video. Let's take a look at the video if we can. Would that be okay?
Well, the video is from the Mongolian, the performance we had last year.
Okay, let's take a look at the Mongolian
Yeah,
performance.
so that's another minority that's
Yeah,
sort
okay,
of in line
right.
with your earlier video.
And when was this taken?
I think this was November or October.
Okay.
Yeah. This is in Choi Music Hall.
You do so much to bring the Chinese culture to the
Right,
community,
right.
and that's really wonderful. Now,
Right.
this is the Mongolian, and they're known for their drumming and many of the other things.
Their music,
Yeah.
you know, the throat singing. And
The throat
long
songs,
yeah,
yeah.
they
Oh
can
my
make
gosh, I've
multiple
heard
like
that.
sounds, you know, simultaneously.
Yeah, yeah.
And you were there. The
The
acoustic
throat
was
singing
great.
is amazing. If you've never seen it, look it up on YouTube because it's really, I don't know how they do it, and they can still talk afterwards. Who knows, you know. But they do that. And the instruments are usually a little different as well.
Their instrument, one of the instruments they have over there has this horse on the top. It's like a string instrument, but only this minority has that instrument.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things as you find in the different cultures or the folk, I don't know, minorities. Minorities is a word to choose. Each one has their like music, their style. I mean, there are some. There's the Dai, there's the Wu. I mean, there's so many different cultures, but some are matriarchal. We have one that is matriarchal, where the men are just, and they have the visiting husbands, and the husbands. So cool.
Yeah.
So you can learn about that by wonderful about the YouTube and also the web. You can learn about all of these. Your event coming up on Saturday, what will that feature for people who attend that?
Right, so this is a Chinese New Year celebration, and it's one of the largest events we have. We also bring other events like the one we just showed. But on this event, we will have, the title is called a New Year Fair. So we try to bring that street fair phenomenon kind of scene to Albany. So at the very beginning, we will have about an hour of performance. We'll have
they're wonderful.
Dragon dance, drum dance, Chinese singing and dance, and we also have the Chinese music instruments like the guzheng, and erhu,
that's a wonderful
two-string
instrument. It's a long instrument that they play. I don't know how they play it because their hands fly all over.
We have a music teacher, so we'll do those for the first hour or so. And then we'll have about 15 stations with activities. Do you remember last year you enjoyed, we had only a couple last year.
Yeah, we had the name, you know, they did
the
calligraphy.
Chinese New Year couplets,
and they were making lanterns too. I think they were making little something or other on one
cutting,
table. Yeah.
Yes, so this year we have a lot more of those. We'll actually move that into the ballroom.
Oh,
we have
nice.
like 15 tables. Each one with different activities. So we will still have the paper cutting, New Year couplet. We'll have also Peking opera face painting.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Chinese knots. Do you know Chinese knots? How do you
make
Chinese
because
knots?
I have that hanging in my car with
so we can teach you how to make the simple ones. And we also have, you know, the Chinese fan, the folding fan. You can paint on the other fan.
I went to the fan museum in I think it was Beijing. It was like, oh my God, amazing.
I've never been to that one.
Amazing.
So all those tea ceremony and other games for the kids, riddles, Chinese chess. So we actually
call that Go.
Yes,
Go.
it's Chinese chess.
Go.
It's a different. So that we have all those activities, and you know, people can stamp. We give them a piece of paper to stamp after the activities, and they can claim prizes.
Yeah.
So that's the activity, and then towards the end, we'll serve Chinese food.
Yeah. And that's great too. I don't know how you're going to prepare food for so many people, but you do it. Somebody does it.
We have a catering, company on campus, so they
and
did
the food
it last
is very
year.
good. It's not just like cafeteria food. It's really quite good.
Yes, I always heard last year was very good.
It was
and
excellent.
This year we hope it's better. So.
Yeah. So how are you going to celebrate Chinese New Year? Because that's on the 5th.
Yes.
Year of the Pig.
Actually, the day is the 5th. Is the Year of Pig. Usually you have friends over, you have, they have dinner, and you decorate your house. And I already did this past weekend. So you can hang the red lantern, you can have those paper cutting, put it on the window, Chinese New Year couplet, you can put it, so you get a red.
And you give everybody a red envelope?
On the 5th. I will give it to my son. I'm sure he's looking forward to it. So this is another tradition in China. On the New Year's Day, the seniors, parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, supposed to give this red envelope with cash in it to kids. As a good luck kind of blessing.
Yeah.
Used to be very symbolic, a tiny little bit of cash, but now can be, it depends on the family. It can be a lot of money. So they are happy to go around,
visit the relatives.
Visit the relatives and go collect the envelopes. And by the end, they can have quite a bit of cash, A lot of them deposit in the bank.
In the
and
bank,
so,
yeah,
yes,
save
yes.
it anyway.
Yeah.
And I noticed, I got a flyer that you don't not only do entertaining, you also do lectures.
Oh,
And
yeah.
one of the lectures, I believe, I put it in there that is coming up, that you're having a
Right.
Professor Z.
Yu Xie,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
He's a sociologist
There it is,
from
right there.
Princeton University, and he's very, very well known in sociology. And he's coming to talk about social closure in China and how that has changed over time.
Over time.
So
I mean,
very-
what a dramatic change from Mao Zedong now
period
to
to today.
the capitalistic
Exactly,
you know,
yes, yes.
society that even though it's communistic, it's still capitalistic
Right.
because we have people that have businesses and they're very
Right. This is a part of our speaker series. So we basically have 3 programs. We have teaching, so we teach Chinese and Chinese culture.
Oh, I should take those classes.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
if you think your library, your community center
Yeah.
wants to have something like that, let us know, or your local schools. We can go there, offer classes on Chinese and
nice.
Chinese culture. We also offer cultural events like Chinese New Year, the Mid-Autumn Festival. We even had talks in the libraries. Last year we
I
had it in the
suggested the
Schenectady County
Library,
Library.
yeah, last
We
year.
did a monthly talk
Yeah.
on the culture, various topics.
Yeah.
So that's the second. And the third is academic program. So we have speaker series, we have academic conferences, and that's more sort of on campus, but it's open to the public.
Yeah.
So we do have people come into U Albany to go to those talks if they are interested in. But for the teaching, for the cultural events, we can actually go into the community,
Go into it and
go
spread
to
the
the
word.
library. So
It's
yeah,
so
let us
important
know
that
if you
we,
want something.
that we understand other cultures because the more we understand, the more we realize we're all the same. We all
Yes.
like our good food and we
Yes.
love to be,
Yes,
and the
sir.
kids love to get the little.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Those red envelopes. Maybe they don't do the red envelopes in this country, but we do
Oh,
something
we do
similar.
we
Yeah.
do Christmas gifts. It's the same
Same
idea.
thing. That's what
yes.
I'm saying. We do it in a
Yes,
different
yes.
way. I want to thank you so much for
Oh,
being
thank
here
you
today
very much.
and telling us a little bit more about the Chinese New Year. And we hope that you'll be able to attend some of the wonderful events at the Confucius Institute. And I think you can go to their website, and
Yes.
you probably can even sign up to get some of their emails if
We
you want
have
to.
an email list. You can
You can
email
on
and
email
you'll get
list and
the-
learn about what's going on, and the events are usually free. So just enjoy the wonderful cultures. We are so rich in our area. Just enjoy it and explore and, open up your hearts to other cultures and learn about it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And
I hope
will
you
see
can
on
make it this Saturday.
Yes,
I
I
hope
can't
everybody
wait.
can make it.
Right.
We are all invited.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to find out about 1,000 Moms. Stay tuned. And Dave Balog is with me today, and we're talking about 1,000 Moms, which has you probably are sitting there saying, what is 1,000 Moms? And I'll have to ask you, what is 1,000 Moms?
Okay.
Hi,
Well,
Dave.
first,
Nice
hi,
to see you.
Ann. This is good to
Yeah,
see you
good to see
again.
you.
And I just for your hard work, which is abundantly evident in your programs and your emails, I just want to, on behalf of 1,000
Oh.
Moms, present you a copy.
The Science of Hope in You.
Yeah. It's a-
Memory, Parkinson's, Stroke, and the Brain.
yeah. It sounds a
Oh, and
little.
you signed it. Thank you.
Yeah, to Ann and
Yes,
staff.
thank you.
This is a passion of mine, the brain, learning about
I
the
won't
brain.
read it now. Wait a
yeah. But there's so much positive happening, and people need to know, Alzheimer's,
They're doing a lot of research.
a lot of research, a lot of understanding of what happens, how it happens, how we can prevent or push
Slow it down, maybe.
right,
Yeah.
with diet,
we don't know
with
how
exercise.
to really prevent it, but we do know that brain activity helps. Maybe
Right.
not a tremendous amount, but it does help.
Well, the nun study out of Minnesota shows that they think reading, staying active, being in a community allows, these nuns are 90, 100 years old, and they're talking like 30-year-olds. They are, because they've kept their brains nimble.
And work puzzles and do things to keep
Yeah.
those circuits going in your brain.
Right.
Because if you quit making those circuits go,
Yeah.
they're just going to go, oh, well.
But one of the findings in regard to puzzles is they'd rather you read, because that's new information. If you're doing puzzles, you're calling up old information. You want to build new connections.
Oh, really?
You want to, yeah.
Well, they say that you should not do the same thing all the time. In
That's
other
right,
words, if you're
yeah.
doing this, then change and do something else. And learn a new task or learn a new language. Anything to create new connections.
That's right, absolutely.
Yeah, in your brain.
So these nuns, I don't want to divert too much, but the nuns did develop Alzheimer's. But they had built up so many reserves, so many extra connections in their brains that they were able to, they didn't show the symptoms of Alzheimer's. They got it, but they had built up, like,
A reserve,
through exercise,
yeah.
extra muscle, extra brain muscle.
Yeah.
So let me tell you about 1,000 Moms.
Yeah,
'Cause,
let's do that. Yeah, that was my first question.
Yeah. It's a really exciting project, founded by my partner Fred and the late Marcia Novi. They had worked in foster care in the social work world for many years. Together, they were a team, and changes at the state. They had their contracts reassigned, so they said, well, let's do it ourselves, because the parents of foster children, they need training. It's mandated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's mandated by the state. And
Actually, all parents need training.
yeah. And the staff, they're required to get training. So they developed training. And then I found myself pulled in, because Marcia, who is a force, and I really, really respect her, she had a saying. Because the parents wanted to know, why are my kids doing this? Because they in foster parenting, you can get a child at any age, 2, 4, 6, up to 18.
It's not even progressive. It's just bam, you got it.
Right. It could be. So parents would want to know, why is this child doing this? I've never seen this behavior. So Marcia came up with the term, behavior is the language of emotions. And
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, perfect. I never even heard it, but yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I took it a little further, because I sat in on their trainings and I said, well, where do emotions come from? The brain.
Yeah.
So the more we learn about what makes us tick, I think the less conflict we'll have, the more understanding.
From you to God's ear.
So it's a very exciting field. And
you've written a number of books
Yeah.
on this, and this being one. I didn't see this one, I guess.
Yeah.
But I like the concept of what you've done here.
yeah,
Oh,
we
I like
tell
this,
people
yeah.
the foods that
The
are
foods, yeah, you
that
do
are
talk
good,
about that, yeah.
that are good brain
Fish
foods.
oil.
Fish oil. Right.
When I was a kid, my parents always used to say that the fish is a brain food.
Yeah.
And I just thought, well, that's kind of silly. They just want me to eat more fish, But in essence, you got fish oil capsules, you got a number of things like that, which help create better brain functioning.
Yeah, and one of the things I've found, even in the last 10 years, they know so much more, say, about Alzheimer's, but the brain produces waste. Even at the cells.
Cellular level.
Right, and it's got to be cleaned out. If it's not cleaned out, you're headed for the plaques and the tangles of Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
So what clears it out? Antioxidants in the fish,
Yeah.
and dark chocolate even.
Oh, dark chocolate. Thank you. For once, something is good for you that I love.
That's right.
I have dark chocolate every day.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
love dark
that's a
chocolate.
that's
And it's not really that high in calories either,
no.
because
Well, not too much sugar.
Yeah.
But the dark
fats, yeah.
chocolate is eggs, proteins. These all reduce. The big thing that I've been looking at is they're looking at inflammation in the brain.
Right. Inflammation is a killer no matter what.
Right. Exactly.
So, and of course, your fish oils are an anti-inflammatory
right.
as well.
An antioxidant.
Yeah.
The oxidants
Yeah.
being the waste, and it's all got to be flushed out, and that's why sleep is so important. The new studies. I mean,
I'm
this
terrible at that. I don't do sleep well.
Yeah. Well, sleep is important because it flushes out the waste
yeah.
of the day, and it consolidates memories, and it's considered a real benefit.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Some people sleep and some don't. I'm one
I
of those
know.
non-sleepers. It's like
Yeah.
And
well, when Thomas Edison
I know,
created the electric light bulb, he messed all.
he messed up because our circadian rhythm
Right.
was just like, bam, we're done.
That's right.
We've
right.
got, and of course, with all the electronics that people have in their bedrooms
Right.
and everywhere else, that light is there that's changing things. So I guess people take melatonin to try and offset
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah. But
So,
I'm sorry.
Now, how can people get your book?
Well, it's on
Are they on
Amazon.
Amazon?
On Amazon, on Kindle, and then we have a website which people can
Yep, and I
access.
think we have that up there too.
Right,
There it is right there. Yeah.
Right, 1000moms.org, and we have a link to a site where people could buy it through that, and we have several other books that I have a dream of starting a publishing house that focuses on these topics. I spent 15 years at the Charles Dana Foundation, and it just hit me about 2 years ago. I remembered all this stuff.
I guess you don't have to worry about Alzheimer's. You're just eating your fish.
No. Sadly, I think I have a photo somewhere. My aunt.
Yeah. Well, let's show up the photo of him as there he is, right there.
Yeah, I kind of devoted and included my family in these sort of stories about case studies about what they ate and their health outcomes. And we knew a lot less about food.
Oh, we didn't know, but we still. I think they ate better years ago and knew less about the effects of food.
Right. Well, one of the things I found out, I'm a lifelong learner. Fast food, sugar, salt, fat, not good.
More
not
salt.
Good. Yeah.
More salt.
And
more
because
salt.
it's cheap for the
cheap.
fast food companies.
Yeah.
But and somebody said the average size of a soda was like 7 ounces 50 years ago. Now it's like 64 ounces.
Yeah, I know. I was at the theater once, and it was like, "Do you want the 48 ounce?" I go, 48 ounces? That's over a quart. I mean, you're looking at just under a gallon, half gallon of food.
Or have you been to a restaurant recently and you get a plate of food that would feed an army?
Well, I always bring a container with me.
Good.
And before I even start my meal, I try to take half off. And that way I have a second meal and I'm not thinking, "Oh, I got to eat all this." No, I always do that. And usually my leftovers will feed me for 2 other meals. So anyway. David, Dave, thanks so much for
sure. I just wanted to mention in those photos was my father. We had a sort of a communal family, 3 stories.
Oh, how wonderful.
No locks on the doors.
And how wonderful that was.
Yeah. And can I just mention one thing?
Sure, go right ahead.
We do 1,000 Moms. We're involved also in education. And if people go to our site, we offer scholarships, can be up to $50,000. We're working with an organization, Union offers it, RPI offers it, and 400 other colleges. So if people want to check it out, we want to do everything we can for these kids in foster care because they really need a hand up.
You give them a leg up.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks so much, David.
Thank
Such
you,
a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
I get your emails all the time, and
great.
And I keep saying, I got to get them on, got to get them on. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Octavo Singers and their upcoming events. Stay tuned. here we are back again, and take a look at Janice. Oh my gosh, what do you have on today? Look
I
at
have
you, just
a
sparkly,
fashion.
competing with me, right?
Yes, I am. We dressed well today. When Octavos has their benefit on February 10th at Glenn Sanders, during the cocktail hour from 4 to 5, we're going to have a strolling fashion show. And the fashions are from one of your guests, which is
Viola.
Peggy Gray, or Viola
yeah.
Gray. And her company is called the 22 Shades of Gray because she actually lives on, her house number is 22.
And her name is Gray.
And
so.
her name is Gray.
No
But-
play on the movie or
no,
anything.
no. But we have 5 models, and each of us has 4 outfits. And we know that she focuses on jackets and tops and
I
things.
have one of her tops.
Yes, and they are lovely, lovely. I have my eye on one that we're going to be modeling. But
That you may end up taking home.
Yes, yes, because they're lovely, they're comfortable, and they're usable stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they're stuff that you can wear.
Well, and I have one of those, you know, what do they call it? It goes over your stuff, you know, like a drapey thing.
Yes,
you know.
a drape or a shawl
And
thing.
you can throw it in the washer.
Yes.
And it comes out looking perfect. And not
Yes.
only that, but it's got pockets. in it.
Yes,
Oh,
and
my,
she
loves
does, and I
pockets.
love it because this pocket is here,
And you
then
don't see 'em. You
the
don't
other
see
one
'em.
is tucked in.
Yeah.
Yes, and she does put pockets because I don't know. I always have a drippy nose. I need a pocket.
Yeah, exactly. There's always something you got to stick in the pocket.
Yep. But this event is a fundraiser for Octavo Singers. You know, we're the ones who do Messiah at Union
That's right.
every
I
year.
couldn't make it last year.
And in addition to our fashion show during the cocktail hour, we'll have a dinner, and it'll be a Glenn Sanders dinner, so it'll be delicious. And interspersed with the dinner, a little bit before the dinner, then a little bit after, we're going to have some singing because that's
And you're
what
doing some of the
Octavos
music
do.
that I love.
Oh yes, we're doing
Gilbert and Sullivan,
Bernstein.
yeah.
Yes, we're doing Bernstein because it's
I love
his
Bernstein,
100th
yeah.
year. So we're going to do very familiar West Side Story, and a lot of people know some music. Maybe they've heard from Candide, and so we're taking selections from that, and then we're doing Gilbert and Sullivan. And my gosh, those
What
people
fun
were
music.
Oh, it is. They were composing around 1850s onward together because they each had their own careers. But I love it, especially in the selections we have. We have 2 selections where the men are singing the military, you know,
Drum,
ta-ra, ta-ra.
ta-ra.
Yes, exactly.
That's
and
the
they're
Pirates of
saying,
Penzance, I think,
yes,
yeah.
Pirates, and there's Trial by Jury, and Ilanthia, and there's a whole mess of them. But the men are really proud soldiers, and they're marching past all the women, you know, and they're going, "Hi there, how are you?" and all of this. And the women in one song are going, "Go off to war, and when you die, we'll sing of you in story and song," you know. And then the other one is, okay, again, the men are marching in their song, and the women are going, "Oh, not you. We want the Oscar Wilde literary person that we're going to fawn over." So,
So you've taken some liberties with us.
well, that is what is there, and it is the reason that Gilbert and Sullivan is still done.
I know.
Over, 150 plus years, and they're done at Glimmer Glasses and places that do opera.
They're fun.
Schenectady Light Opera. If you look at some of their past shows early on,
Mikado
Oh
and, yeah.
yes, they used to do a lot of the Gilbert and Sullivan
Yeah.
stuff because it's really funny.
Yeah.
So in addition to a nice dinner and cocktail hour and music, and in fact, a familiar person, Malcolm
Oh, yeah,
Kogod
Malcolm, yeah.
is going to be doing our cocktail music as we're strolling
I saw that,
around. And so in addition to that, we have some wonderful silent auction items and some raffle items.
And those are always fun.
They are fun and it's good. But it's to benefit the concerts that we do because we pay an orchestra.
And you got to pay for your music usually? and
Yeah,
things like
well,
that?
the members pay for that.
okay.
But the orchestra, you know, we pay them the going rate.
Yeah.
And we want to have a good orchestra. And that's the highest expense for us.
I'm going to say who's coming up next, and as soon as
Yep.
I do, I'm going to say where can they get their tickets. So
Yes.
that's next. Next week, we're going to be talking about Black History Month. We're going to talk about Girl Scout, their cookies. We're talking about My Side with their butterflies are coming. Oh my God, the butterfly house is amazing. The Civic Players is going to be doing Boston Marriage. Jan's Wanderings, that's you. I'm giving
Yes.
you a new name because you got something new every time. And then the Writers Institute will also be here from there over at SUNY, and we're going to be talking about some of their events coming up.
Yes.
So how do they get
you
their
can
tickets?
get tickets, and they're
Are there
$65.
still tickets?
There are tickets. You can get them until February 1, and the room holds 300, and there's only about 50 left.
Okay.
So if you're interested, this is February 10th. It begins at 4 o'clock.
On Sunday.
On Sunday, the 10th. And you can get tickets at Octavo, O-C-T-A-V-O, singers.org.
Okay,
And
good.
just go on the site and you can get tickets. And as I said, this is supporting a local group. It's been around over 80 years. It started as a WPA project. We
Oh,
do
really? I had no
Yes,
idea.
yes, yeah. And in the spring,
I thought they were just putting trees up. That's
no, WPA supported a lot of people
That was World War II.
singing.
We're talking about
Yes,
the
these-
work projects.
Right,
Yeah.
and they were there to give the people something to do
Okay.
during the Depression time,
yeah,
because we
31,
were
yeah.
started in 33,
Yeah.
34. But our next concert is going to be May 19th, and there's a modern composer, his name is Kurt Jenkins, and we're singing his Armed Man, and we're singing it in conjunction with Haydn's piece In Time of War.
Okay.
And so they both deal with societies that are struggling. And Jenkins, we had done a couple of years ago, we did his Sanctus and Gloria, marvelous modern music and just delightful.
Yeah.
So
the Octavo does some wonderful work.
Yes,
Get
we
your
do.
tickets because their music is wonderful. I
Yep.
mean, any group that does a Messiah has got to be darn good. So, and I will see you at that event. It
Yes,
looks like
yes,
a wonderful
yes.
event.
It will be fun.
And you've been watching Schenectady Today in and around the Capital Region. And by the way, Jan is the one that does all of the credits that you see pop up under the screen. So we thank you every week for volunteering and helping us. I'm Ann Perillo. You're watching Schenectady Today in and around the Capital Region.